You know, we all have dreams and goals, and it's often not our circumstances or our resources or lack thereof that causes us not to succeed. It's often our own beliefs about ourselves. And today we're going to be talking about limiting beliefs. I am so excited that you've joined me for this 100-day walk to consistency. Hey, this is day number 13, and I'm Dr. Dwain Woode. That's what we're talking about today. Remember, consistency is a key to being able to be successful. And I'm excited that you're on this journey with me of growth, development, and working to make ourselves a better version of who we are. Thank you for joining me. Come on, I'll see you on the walk. So we're talking about limiting beliefs. And this comes right on the heels of a conversation we had in our last video where we talked about self-talk. And so the things that we discuss in self-talk really come from where we see ourselves and the beliefs that we hold. So what are limiting beliefs? So limiting beliefs are those deeply ingrained thoughts that we have about ourselves and that we have about those people around us. And they're the things that really kind of shape our world. They are the glasses or the filter, you will, that we see ourselves and the world through. It almost goes back to this idea of the model that we discussed. And remember, the model says that things will happen. There's a circumstance that occurs, and it has no meaning until we give it meaning. And so our beliefs really inform and give meaning to the things that happen around us. So that is how powerful limiting beliefs are. They are the thing that will inform, if you will, and provide context for a lot of what we see and a lot of the thoughts and a lot of the procedures and behaviors that we go through. So limiting beliefs. So here's some key ideas about limiting beliefs. Okay, number one, limiting beliefs can cause self-imposed limitations. Self-imposed limitations. And the idea there is that these beliefs stem from fears, they stem from experiences, they stem from things that have happened to us, and we've created a model. We've created some space in our mind where we've created that belief, and we've created an environment where that belief is true. And so because we've created this space, remember, the brain, the mind, wants to be right. And so it will continue creating situations that make whatever you believing come true, or make whatever you believing a true statement, so that it limits you, because you can't now think outside of that space. Your brain won't allow you to think outside of the outside of the environment, or outside of the circumstance that were created because of that limiting beliefs, right? So it's a self-imposed limitation, these limiting beliefs. Number two, limiting beliefs are most often subconscious. Most of us don't realize that we're operating under a limiting belief. We believe that these things are our preferences, that they are just the way we are. They're the things that we like. These are the concepts that you've evaluated and developed because of, your experience. But they are beliefs that can sometimes be reactionary, or beliefs that were ingrained because of something that happened to us, And so if we're not careful, then we don't even realize that we're operating under a limiting belief. And then limiting beliefs reinforce negative experiences. So because those experiences that we had are existing in this belief space, which I'll call it, then the brain finds reasons, ways to support the belief that you have. So anything that happens, we filter it through the belief. And so it reinforces, strengthens. It's kind of like, pick any random thing, right? So you are supposed to do a project, and the project didn't quite work out because someone on the team became ill and they couldn't complete their part. And so the brain says, hey, you're not a good leader, right? Because limited belief said, well, I'm not a good leader. And so now this thing happens, and the brain doesn't say, oh, this was out of my control. It says, oh, this is just another thing that shows that I'm not a good leader. Notice what happens, right? So we take whatever that situation is and we incorporate it into our belief, and that strengthens the belief. So you want to be careful, because those limiting beliefs will continue to reinforce the things that we do, okay? So some examples of limiting beliefs are, I'm not good enough, right? Meaning that I don't deserve in some cases, or I don't have the ability to in other cases. So I'm not good enough, and there's some lawn care going on over here, so I think we'll change and go in a different direction. So I'm not good enough, or it's too late for me. A lot of times I'll hear that limiting belief when it comes to health. So we've all made choices in the past that don't quite fit into what we would consider to be good, healthy choices. And, a lot of us have had some complications. A lot of us are older than we were when we were making those choices. And the limiting belief says, okay, this is it. And I'm too late. I can't make corrections. I can't improve. I can't go in a different direction. I can't make choices to be healthy, right? So that's a limiting belief. Another limiting belief is, I'll never be successful because I am not aggressive, because I'm an introvert, because I'm an extrovert, because I have a fear of public speaking. And it goes on and on and on. But the limiting belief continues to persist. And if we're not careful, then that becomes our reality, because the brain, like I said, will continue creating the space where that's true. So why are limiting beliefs, why can they hold us back? How do they hold us back? Well, they affect our actions. So if you think that you're not good enough, if you think you're not worthy enough, then why try? If you think that it's not going to succeed, why do anything? If you think that this thing is going to turn out just like it did last time, why put it? You already know the answer, so why put in the effort, all right? So limiting beliefs will cause us not to do things because they affect our they affect our actions. They hold us back, right? So if you're not good enough at public speaking, then why accept a speaking engagement? Even though it would be a great opportunity for you in terms of your career, great opportunity for you to do some networking, great opportunity for you to have a different experience. If you're not good at public speaking, why learn? Why take a class? Why take a class on how to write or give a talk? All right, notice what happened. The limiting belief says one thing, and that extrapolates and it creates an environment where we don't do anything at all, okay? All right. Limiting belief, they hold us back from opportunities. So if we have a limiting belief, then we're not looking for ways to expand ourselves. Take the public speaking opportunity. Well, if I'm not good at public speaking and there's a job that requires public speaking and I love what I would be doing in the job, but I don't like public speaking because I'm no good at it, then I don't apply for the job. Do you see how insidious that can be? That it creates all of these spaces and creates all of these hindrances for us so that we lose opportunities that would ordinarily be things that would be exciting to us, but because of the limiting belief, we're like, no, I'm not going to do that. I'm just waiting for some of these cars to go by. Right? They create fear and doubt. So limiting beliefs set us up to have persistent fear, set us up to have doubts that will build. Because what's going on is you have a limiting belief, the brain is finding opportunities to support what you're telling it. So it's reinforcing that limiting belief. And the more it reinforces the limiting belief, the more areas of your life the limiting belief will touch. And the more areas it touches, the more fear it brings about, okay, I'm gonna be in a situation where I'll have to speak, or there's doubt, right? So man, I'm not good at public speaking, and now it looks like I'm not good at leading a team, and now it looks like I'm not good at organizing, and now, right? See, so it's starting to affect so many different areas of our lives because the limiting belief will cause fear and it will cause doubt. So we want to be careful with limiting beliefs. So how do you identify limiting beliefs? How do you identify limiting beliefs? The first step that we want to do, and we talked about this, anytime you want to change something, you want to identify what it is. So we identify limiting beliefs by asking a couple questions. What's one goal, right? What is one goal that you've been afraid of to pursue, and why? So that why question, and I'm just pausing here for a minute because there you go. So that why question that you're asking will pinpoint some limiting beliefs. This often reveals when there's a limit. Why do I hold that? Why didn't I pursue it? Why do I think that didn't work out? Well, it didn't work out. I didn't pursue it because I think I'm not good at it. It didn't work out because I already had doubt about myself. It didn't work out because I was afraid, right? So notice we're putting that, okay? So what negative statement, so the why, what negative statement is associated with that particular belief or that particular thought? Right? What is it that goes along with it? So we talked about self-talk yesterday and identifying negative self-talk. And negative self-talk is those negative words that we will see. And the same thing here, when we're thinking about limiting beliefs, what are those negative words that seem to be associated with this idea, this process that we're talking about? Okay, what do you believe about yourself that limits your potential? Think about the time when you didn't go after something. Think about that time where you thought whatever this belief is, and you didn't go off after something, and how did that make you feel, right? Well, not just how did it make you feel, but what was the consequence of that, right? The job that you wanted that you didn't get, that your friend got, or someone else who was less qualified from you got, or even somebody who was qualified got, but you wanted that job and you didn't go after it because of something else. One of the things that I hear people say often is that they can't fast, right? So fasting is one of those tools that we use in our space. They say, well, I can't fast for whatever reason, and that is a limiting belief, right? Because the limiting belief causes you not to go after it, And so it prevents you from actually finding solutions. It takes you out of the solution-oriented phase and it leaves you in the, well, I guess that's just how it is phase, right? Because if you have a belief that says that it can't be done, you're not good at it, you can't do it, you're not organized enough, you're not worthy of it, then you don't try. And even if you try, you don't give it a full, you don't try it wholeheartedly. And if you try it, as soon as something happens that's negative or something happens that's a challenge, then guess what you do? You give up, okay? So limiting beliefs. So that's how you identify them. And we all have them. They all are, to some extent or another, okay? So limiting beliefs. Why limiting beliefs? We talked about how it holds us back, takes us from action. And so, how do we implement a process of getting over limiting beliefs? And this is where our challenge comes in, right? This is where our challenge comes in. So I want you to identify, right? I guess let me back up. How do we overcome? Number one, you want to challenge the belief. Let's back up. So how do we overcome limiting beliefs? Number one, we want to challenge the belief. And this, right, is reminiscent of the idea of challenging our negative thoughts. So there are things, thoughts, feelings that are going to come wherever we are, whenever there are challenges. And some doubt is going to come in. And that doubt may lead to your brain creating a belief based on some history. And so whenever that happens, you've got to challenge it. You can't let that be the thing that drives you. So the question is this always true, right? So I am not a good leader. Is that true? Or is it just that I haven't learned the skills? Or is it that this one thing didn't work out? Or is it that this situation that happened was out of my control? What is the limiting the belief? I'm going to challenge that. I'm not just going to let that be ingrained in me and ingrained in my thought process. What is this really true, right? So I want to ask myself that. Then you want to reframe the belief. So our mind has this uncanny ability to take something and to pigeonhole us. And so reframing is the act of thinking about that thing in a different way, okay? So rather than saying, just like my example, I am not a good leader, well, this is an opportunity for me to learn the skills of a leader. My wife and I, we always have arguments. Well, this is a great opportunity for me to learn how to communicate. Notice what I'm doing, right? It didn't change what happened, but it changed how I'm thinking about it. I can't lose weight. Okay, I just haven't found the right mechanism. I just haven't found the right tool yet for losing weight. I am not consistent. I don't follow through. Well, here's an opportunity for these 100 days to learn to be consistent. Notice what I'm doing. I'm changing the frame. I'm shifting my frame to be able to say that the situation hasn't changed, but I'm changing how I'm thinking about the situation, okay? And then take action. The best way to overcome limiting beliefs is to get a plan and take action on the plan. Now, there are so many things that I have, and I think I've mentioned to you, that are in my head, in my brain. And there are times when my limiting belief will say, you can't do that, that's not gonna work. And when I come up with a plan and I go for it, It's not that it doesn't always, or doesn't have any lumps or bumps. They will come. But when I've done it, I say, okay, I've done that already. So it now becomes, I know I can do it. So now I've just got to get efficient. I've got to get proficient at doing it. But if you continually avoid the action, then the limiting belief continues to grow. So you want to make sure that you're not allowing that limiting belief to continue to grow. You're taking action. Come up with a plan and take action for how you're going to move forward. And then surround yourself with people. All right, you knew this one was coming. Surround yourself with like-minded people who are heading in the same direction. Surround yourself with people who are supportive, people who are available for you, people who, these are going to be your folks, right? Remember your accountability group? Accountability and support, very important in all that we're going to do. If we're going to be successful, we got to have that support. So make sure that you are finding people and surrounding yourself with people who are going to be there to support you. Okay? Awesome. So now that we've talked about these limiting beliefs, are you ready? Are you ready for the challenge? Okay? So the challenge is this. I want you to identify one limiting belief that you have. One limiting belief you have about your health. One limiting belief you have about your metabolism, about your blood sugars, about your weight, about a skill that you think you may not have, right? So I want you to identify that. And then I want you to begin working through the process. Write down the limiting belief. What is it? What is your brain saying to you that is going on? Okay? I want you to write it down, because remember, if you don't put it down, then that often doesn't allow you to make changes. Next, I want you to ask yourself, is this really true? Is this limiting belief a true statement? Is it a truism? Right? Then we're going to, because we're challenging it, then we're going to reframe it. We're going to put it in a space where we are putting a positive spin on that limiting belief. And then I want you to take one action related to the limiting belief, relating to something that limiting belief is telling you can't, you shouldn't, you won't, you don't do. Go ahead and take some action in that space. Okay? So that's your challenge for today. This is amazing, y'all. So here we are, day
Time 30 minutes 47 seconds. Total distance 1.0 miles. Average pace 30 minutes 47 seconds per mile. Split pace 30 minutes 47 seconds per mile.
Yeah, so that was my app tracking us. So limiting beliefs can be like hidden chains that hold us back. But the good news is that you can make a difference. You can make a change. You can set yourself up for success. Limiting beliefs prevent us from being consistent. And remember, consistency is our key. Consistency is our key. So if there's something that prevents us from being consistent, then that's something that we've got to make sure that we are taking care of, that we're getting out of our lives. All right, so limiting beliefs. So this idea of getting rid of limiting beliefs is another tool that we'll use as we work in the direction of being consistent and of being successful. As always, I'm Dr. Dwain Woode. That's Wood with an E. The E stands for Endocrinology. Here on the channel, I educate, I empower, and I encourage you to take charge of your health and your life, avoid complications, and go to the next level. And I'm glad that you're here. Join me on tomorrow for our next walk at 14 days of consistency, 14 days of building a better version of ourselves, 14 days of learning more and putting another piece in.